think we got to start with your starting pitcher for another Friday in a row here. Didn't know if he'd be able to better what he did at Elon a week ago, but he definitely did that here today. Gavin Williams was special.
He was special, and we needed him to be special. Their guy was good too. It was, a pitcher's strike zone, which Gavin took advantage of, but the other guy was keeping the ball really down and just making it tough on our hitters. And we just scratched runs across, and nothing outstanding, no home runs, but just executing some bunts, doing some things and putting pressure on their defense. And that's what you got to do. You got to grit out wins in the conference. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that.
And Cliff, offensively, the one swing of the bat today that did kind of become the catalyst in the scoring was the double by Agnos. And so he may be getting it going now.
Zach and I have been working a lot, and Zach is, a great player. And the one thing, even when he's not swinging it great, he walks. But today he was able to get a swing off. We had hit some early around 11:15, and he's continuing to get a little bit more comfortable in his swing and just go up there and believe. And but he was great today. And, Ryder had a squeeze, and a lot of guys had tough at bat. Starling had a big walk. Franny had a big swing, but AMAC got us going with just a jam shot that just put pressure on their defense, and those things are all important.
I think we can't lose sight of what's coming tomorrow and 2 games to wrap up this series tomorrow. But you've used 3 relievers now in your first 2 games, and they've retired all 22 hitters that they've seen with Carter's work here today. And we make a lot out of it here, and certainly a lot of folks do about these 4-game weekends. But to get through your first 2 games with just 3 relievers used, and they all pitch as great as they have, that sets you up really nicely for 18 innings of ball tomorrow.
Corey, you just won't let it go. You in the media talk about those 4 games as much as possible. So I told our guys that we got 1 game tomorrow. We got 1 game at 1:00, and then we'll worry about the next one. Yes, it's nice to have on paper your bullpen, but you still got to go out there with your guys and be able to execute. Carter Spivey did a tremendous job today executing his pitches and look back to his form, and that was really good to see. And Saylor was, tremendous yesterday, just the extensive amount of work, and he won't be available tomorrow. I'm sure he'll want to pitch, but we're not going to pitch him tomorrow. So that's one less, and, but Mayhew, Cam, Bridgie, and others will be down there ready to go tomorrow.
Coach, a really impressive effort by your guys here today. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Corey. Thanks, Coach O.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll open up the questions for Coach Godwin now for everybody else.
Coach, the evolution of Gavin's hard breaking ball, how much of a difference has that made this season?
Yeah, his slider is it's really come along. He's been working on it for some time now, but at times it would be good, and at times and he's just got a good feel for it now, and it's really causing hitters a lot of trouble. And when you're throwing the ball 95, 96 miles an hour and you're moving the ball in and out, and then you got this slider that it breaks late, so it's not like they can sit on it. And if they sit on that, then you still got the 95 in your back pocket. And he actually flipped in a couple breaking balls, threw a couple good changeups to lefties. He really had, in my opinion, his whole arsenal working today at times, which it just makes it really hard on hitters because you can't sell out for one pitch.
What about the consistency he's had this season? When you look at his career and injuries and kind of up and down, he's strung together star after star after star and been good. I mean, how much has that impacted him just kind of stringing these things together?
Well, Ronnie, the one thing I hope kids learn in our program, and I heard Roy Williams, talking about his retirement and the opt-out and people quitting, is that in life, bad things happen to good people all the time. And I want our kids to learn how to handle adversity. And Gavin's been given some adversity that wasn't his fault. He's always worked hard. It just has been, unfortunate. I guess you can call it luck, but bad things happen to good people all the time. And for him to persevere through those things has allowed him to be what he is today. And look, if he hadn't broken his finger last year, probably wouldn't be back this year. And I'm not saying that from a selfish standpoint. Gavin knew that he had my blessing to do whatever he wanted to with the draft last year, but he wanted to come back and prove to people that he could start. And up until this point, he has done a really good job of that. And as we know, we got to stay humble and we got to stay hungry, because if not, then, you won't put out your best work the next time you go out there. But I'm super proud of Gavin from a human aspect of him just staying the course when it would have been very easy for him to felt sorry for himself and not continue to battle through some things that he has. And I'm just so glad I had one more year with him, not from his pitching, but just for him as a person.
You talked about getting it going a little bit earlier in the game and not wait until the latter innings to hope something great happened. You got that done a little bit better today. You played 5 games in the last 7 days. How do you feel after today's game a little bit?
I feel really good. We won all 3 phases. We scored 5 or more runs. We didn't give up any runs, so we gave up 3 or less, and we had 1 or less errors. So when you win all 3 phases, you're not going to lose. And our guys did a really good job, I thought, of competing and focusing on what we can control today. So I was very happy with our performance today.
Coach, can you talk about the impact of Coach Dietrich on your pitchers this year? He seems to have now that we have the full season, it looks like that he's had a huge impact on them.
Look, it's a blessing that he's a part of our program. And God's got a hand in it. I got an email in Orlando. You guys have heard the story. Email in Orlando. I didn't know who Jason Dietrich was. And I read his resume and I'm like, damn, I need to know who he is. So then I made calls, or I shot an email to Eric Backage, Nick Schnabel, Bryant Ward, all Pirates. And Eric emailed me right back, said Bryant knows him really well. Talked to Bryant, talked to John Savage, talked to Rick Vanderhook, talked to George Horton. Everybody had great things to say about him. And look, Dietz is an unbelievable pitching coach, but he's a better person than he is a pitching coach. And Austin Knight has assisted him a ton. And I'm so thankful that they're on our side, but they have helped our pitchers a ton. And our pitchers have done a great job taking their teaching and putting it out there and putting it into work.
So I had the negative bunting question yesterday, so I'll go positive for you today. That the sacrifice bunt, yeah, I had to put a jab on there. That seemed to be a point of emphasis today. Was that intent of trying to get guys to execute and that type of thing early today?
Ronnie, it's just the wind's gailing in, man. Like it was pushing even in from left. Like normally when it kind of blows from right field, it kind of, if you hit it down the left field line, it'll still go. But today you couldn't have shot the ball out of a canning and got it out of here. So we just knew we were going to have that runs were going to be at a premium, and their guy was good. And like I said, it was a pitcher's strike zone. So we had to maneuver through it, and we were able to execute. And Gavin was just, out there getting us back in the dugout. And we had, 2 innings where we scored, but they were both crooked numbers. So that gives, Gavin some freedom to be able to go for it a little bit more, which was awesome to see.
Gavin. All right, guys, we'll go to questions for Gavin.
Gavin, I asked Coach Godwin this, but how much has the evolution of your slider really helped you on the mound this year?
Pretty good amount, honestly. Throwing it every day. Dylan Lawson should get the credit for it. He's helped me out a lot with it. He showed me where to grip it and everything like that. So
we've talked to you a lot in your career, dating back to your freshman year at Campbell. I can remember that midweek start. How does it kind of feel to be a midweek or mid-weekend starter now and kind of doing that each week? Do you feel like you're kind of in a routine with that now?
It's just a game of baseball, really. Starting on the midweek or weekend, it doesn't really matter to me. I think either way, it's fun to be starting.
Gavin, you improved to 3-0 today. You get a little momentum going here. How do you feel as of right now, with having some success behind you and moving into next week a little bit?
Honestly, I feel good, but you can't really look at your record right now. Got to be present, really. So can't look forward to anything.
Coach had mentioned the adversity you've been through, overcoming what you did last season and then deciding to come back for an extra year. What has that meant to you so far, just to come back and have such a successful season at this point?
It means a lot because you got so many people behind me, like lifting me up and everything. So my teammates, they've been a big part of my success right now. So.
Gavin, can you talk about your relationship with Coach Dietrich and how hard he's worked with you? I know you work hard always, and I know he's a hard worker too.
I would say our relationship's pretty good. He can joke around with me, like, and everything else like that. But other than that, I think it's pretty good.
So we know obviously you can throw hard and the radar gun on the scoreboard and stuff, but what's it like when you, kind of like Igo said, when you strike out a guy on a breaking ball? Does that almost feel better now than striking out somebody on 98 or 99? I mean, just that breaking pitch and using that effectively, how does that make you feel as a pitcher?
Honestly, it feels the same as striking somebody out. A strikeout is strikeout to me. It doesn't really matter.
Gavin, when you got into the seventh there, you worked into a bases loaded jam, but Carter Spivey came in and just shut things down from there. Just how big was that for him to come in after you and settle things down?
Oh, it was really big. I had faith in him. He's done that all year, so it doesn't really matter who comes in. I knew he's going to close the door no matter what.
What does it mean to have ECU fans behind you and cheering you on the way they did after your performance today?
Oh, it means the world. We got the best fans in the nation. I don't think anybody else I don't think any other team in the nation, their crowd does that for them. So it's kind of awesome seeing all those people stand up and clap, everything like that.